Olá pessoal, tudo bem? Bem-vindos a mais um Hey Ho, Let's Grow. Hoje vai ser o nosso primeiro episódio em inglês. Estou aqui com um gringo, Ragnar Sass. Então, na sequência, agora vou começar a falar inglês. Ragnar, thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure. I'm really excited to have this chat with you. Firstly, I would like you to introduce yourself, tell a bit more about you, about Pipedrive as well. So please.
So hi guys, my name is Ragnar Sass. I'm from tiny country Estonia. If someone doesn't know Estonia, it's middle of nowhere in Europe, next to Finland and Russia. So this is like country with only 1.3 million people, and extremely like awful weather. Like, you know, you can have plus 15 in June and in December as well, raining. But we are extremely good in IT and startups. So I have been doing like companies almost all my life. I'm co-founder of Pipedrive, which has been my biggest success so far. And for the Pipedrive, Brazil is super important. We are big here. I always love to come back to the Brazil because of so many great clients and passionate clients we have. I have also like done already angel investing. I have invested 10 startups. One of them, by the way, from Latin America. This is Hugo from El Salvador. I'm still waiting to make my first investment to Brazil. Maybe someone.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah,
Let's make it happen.
You know, you can reach me, by the way. I would love to do that
with Darwin.
Yeah, never know. You know. And I have traveled a lot, and now lately I've been more and more focused exactly how we can basically be more successful from outside the Silicon Valley.
Sure.
How basically my experience can help someone from Sao Paulo, Florida, or same way Ukraine, you know, even from like Southeast Asia. So I am focusing exactly building now Founders Network Lift 99. Which exactly is the main thesis that, you know, Silicon Valley, as we know, is changing and is more and more broken. The question is how founder from whatever place he's born can build this company and can get like best help from other experienced founders, and also how he can connect with super smart investors whatever place they are. So that's the thesis what I'm working more and more. That's why I'm in Brazil, to share my experience, also meet with many partner clients. So I'm happy to be in this show.
Great, welcome. First question, I would like to start with your early days at Pipedrive. How was that? Where did this idea came from?
By the way, what is important is that before Pipedrive, I had like really rough time. Like my first startup was United Dogs. It was literally like Facebook for dogs and cats. We had almost 500,000 users worldwide, also from Brazil. But we didn't manage to build a good business model.
Yeah.
Like, you know, social network is so difficult.
How did you monetize that?
Exactly. The biggest mistake what we made was we was monetizing by advertising.
Oh, okay.
And it's so difficult,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's just you sell it and so on. And in that time, I met Timo Durmas, who was basically helping my first company to build sales, like, you know, like purchases and so on. And we sadly like was really tough time. We had like small team, worked super hard, but we run out of money, and we basically have to almost like close the company. So and same.
Did you fundraise?
I had like, yes, I fundraised. I didn't have luck with great investors because one of them was pretty active, or I would say today aggressive. And I fundraised from the local people. There was like government fund, but I had great connection with Skype founders who was also angels. But in overall, I think that I did many mistakes, and one of the mistake was I fundraised people which maybe our like values and how we see the company going wasn't so much aligned.
Okay.
And if you build startup and you have disagreements inside of the team, because investors are your team.
Yeah.
So it's super hard. And you know, like, there's no questions that every startup would always have very rough, like you know, times. The question is how you survive them. And in our case, we just was not so good on that. We had disagreements.
Can you mention an example?
Yeah, exactly. So the question was like, okay, so there's always question like how far can investor go? In our case, investor almost like looked like every budget line and was asking like, who is that person? Why he's getting so much salary? I was like, but this is the CTO. And so I think that this was micromanagement from this guy. And, you know, like if you have tough time, you need support. But many times I remember my board meetings was like, I don't know, like 3 hours. I was preparing for it like almost like, I basically spent sometimes half of my time was just investor relations. This is crazy. I was like, so tough time. We launched a new product to change the business model, basically for the subscriptions. But the other big mistake which we made was like we stayed too long in Estonia.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know Estonia there is no market. We was market leader in Estonia, but like as we know,
small.
Yeah, in Sao Paulo, like one area is bigger than all Estonia, you know. So, but we learned a lot, and then exactly this failure was leading to the Pipedrive, because Urmas and Timo, who helped us in sales, we had talk one day with Urmas. I remember they was like, you know, they have been Urmas and Timo, my group on the Pipedrive, they have been forever on sales, like forever.
Okay.
Timo started in his sales. He was a sales guy in US. So it's one company you can do like summer job. So what it looks like, you go and sell books door to door. Knock knock, hello, you know, do you wanna buy like, you know, this is very good book, you know, for your kids. Go away. So you will have every day like I think that minimum of 100 no's and very emotional no's. People say like, I call you police, why are you knocking my door? But you know, that's the roughest thing how you can learn about sales.
Yeah, resilience is a good skill to have in this job.
So Timo did that when he was in after university, and then he basically Timo is a Pipedrive CEO. Timo basically then started to build sales consultant company, and he worked with all CRMs. And why this other company was like, in 2010 we looked all of the CRMs, like literally who's around, and the biggest problem what we found is that many of them is complicated, and half time people don't use it because it's too complicated. Sure. And the example was, if you wanna add new deal, it will take you 9 clicks. 9 clicks, and sales is hard, and you're like, damn it, you know, like my life is hard, and this fucking software is so awful.
I need to call everybody and then have a lot of clicks to input the data.
And you know how people was like, the best sales tool is paper and pen.
Yeah.
You just write it down, you know, like
it's easier.
Yeah, this is how we started the company. We was like, why we are doing that? Because we wanna make salesperson happy, more effective, and focusing on important thing. Our dream was in the first day, and we're still moving to that, is that you open computer and you have Zen mode. We are calling it Zen mode back in days. It shows the one thing what you should do next to basically being more successful in the sale.
Okay.
One thing. So that was basically the theory, is that how we can build tool which also helps salesperson first. This has been always our priority, like
the manager, not
exactly. Like many tools has been built from the top down.
Okay.
We wanted to build opposite way, and also basically designing products that how many people have ever like have training about Facebook or Instagram? None. But almost every CRM that time was like, yeah, we go to the Salesforce, 2 months training, you know, 6 months installation. It's like, no, you know, it should be like 2-minute video. You just go and do the thing. Yes, and you are good to go. This was the whole philosophy, and that's exactly why we have been successful, and what we keep in mind. Our focus is make salesperson more effective and how to make many things around that. So he can just focus one thing, calling and making this happen.
Great.
And you know, this is changing so rapidly that, being very honest, I never imagined that sales process and building can be so difficult and complicated, because nowadays we have challenge. The more you want to add, how we can still be like simple.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we will break it. So that was the starting point, that how we can build system, but people actually using it. That was the also important. We also wanted to build easy to use, looking good, and having this like wow effects. Wow, that's beautiful. That's why we had even jokes in the system, like how to build like system which is so like not like this like very official, but like your friend.
Friendly. Nice. And did you mentioned about your co-founders? You working together before that?
Yeah.
Or they were your co-founders at the
So basically, I think that if I now look startups, I always look like the founders and what's the relation. And in Pipedrive, the biggest luck and success we had was like we had two groups come together. We had like me and two Martins, and we worked like before Pipedrive even 10 years together. So we did United Talks. Before that, we worked together in one newspaper, launched like the portals. And it was Urmas and Timo who worked also together like 10 plus years. And we had two extremely strong groups, which basically was like Urmas and Timo knows everything about the sale. And we know everything how to build systems, but scaling. So I myself has been coding in my high school, but I moved pretty fast to the focusing more like how I can be between engineering and the client, how I can translate both sides in the same page. Also about like hiring, marketing, and growth. This I did. So we had luck, the best possible like setup for the founding team.
Great. You mentioned before about the mistakes that you made, not going global in the first company, and what changed in Pipedrive? Like your strategy was to go global like day zero, or you changed it or you built it during the time?
So basically, this is a very good point. In Pipedrive, exactly, given what failures we did, we also like what we did different was immediately like, okay, what is the business model, like how we make money, what is the main KPIs, how we measure the success, But our approach was immediately like global approach. First, paying company.
Sorry to interrupt you. Just one quick question. How long did you manage the other company?
So basically, my first company it was around 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I launched in 2007, and we finished basically 2010, like around April, May.
Okay. Then you shut down.
So this is even crazier. Like we run out of money, and people was like extremely like stressed.
Heavy user.
Yeah, like there was few things. Our user was so shocked, when we told the news. But our team, believe me, like we was going through with so crazy things. We launched the product, relaunched. We was completely rewriting our thing, and we launched this in exactly the day we planned, which is crazy. Like usually 99% in the programming time, if you are planning, you are never launching right time. But we actually launched in I think it was 1st May of 1st March 2010. But we didn't see in first like 2 months too much like fundamental changes in KPI. So it was really tough time. Like I was before that long time I was in depression because of that. But basically we launched it, but we were already out of the money basically.
Okay.
And what happens that we basically had conflict with the investors. So basically investors pretty much like asked me to step down, and they didn't had like who can be CEO and who can lead it. And they talk many things, and then what was more crazy, actually one of the investors took it over and was running it still, but if you don't have team, there's nothing, and he hired the team. It was around, I have not checked it now like last few years, but it was still live at least, but it was pretty much empty,
Okay, and jumping back to the go global question, what's your mindset? So was day zero?
Yes, basically what was difference? We immediately first of all our brand immediately English, like how it can be like understandable for the
English native language.
Yes. Like basically, okay, we had the crazy thing, we still had, and we still have, by the way, we have still Estonian version, but like, I don't even know how many using. And and being very frank, in Estonia, English is like so much in our DNA that I can't use software in Estonian language because my brain doesn't understand like what does that word means. There's no context. So, but yeah, we had approached day zero. This is global product. Like this is English language. We have other languages, but Pipedrive is English word. In my first startup, it actually never meant to be startup. So I had the domain name first in English, in Estonian, and then we switched to the English branding. But here we had English branding immediately day one. The first paying company was from Estonia, but second was from Boston, US. And in the first day, by the way, we built a Pipedrive product was built in 1 month. Like end of the July 2010, we already had product what we started to use immediately. And I literally, what I did, I think it was September 2010, I looked my LinkedIn, literally, or all my contacts, and I just like phone, hi, I am in Pipedrive now, I am building sales tool. Do you have sales team? Yes. Like I can give you this tool, like use free, like whatever, 8 months, but with one condition, give me feedback.
Okay.
And I literally like jumped email and did everything just to get first clients into using it free. We didn't have like even payment system ready.
Only in Estonia? This
Yeah, I was in Estonia at that time, but I literally like contacted like so many, like hundreds of my contact, just to like ask them, please, I have something very cool, I'm using it, I'm loving it. It's not dogs, cats, whatever. So, and this is by the way, the first thing which I believe, the best salesperson is founder. If founder can't sell, no one can. Black and white. That if someone asks like, oh, who you will be hired first, VP of sales, or, I will say, founder have to make the sale first. Like he have to. I would
have
never
to learn.
Yeah, because I would never like basically invest company when founder can't sell it. And also like if I can't sell it after the like if I meet one founder, however, and after the call I can call to my friends and oh my god, this is product, you should use it. Something is broken. If I can't do that. So that's the first test for me always, like, can founder sell me the product? Because if he can't, then no one can. Like
Great.
You should really like, you as a founder should go to the field and do this job and then think, okay, I don't scale anymore. How I can do it? And then most likely you end up with like some usual sales guy who will start to call and do the thing. I'm very practical guy. I'm from Eastern Europe. I'm more like exactly how every single guy or girl who you hire can have immediate KPIs, immediate numbers. Like, and usually you build organization not from hiring great managers, but great specialists and how they can grow in the company.
Great advice. And after that, after you call in hundreds of people, what did you focus on? Did you focus on one country specifically, or did you focus like, okay, I'm gonna abroad, publishing everywhere and see what happens?
This is a very good question. I think that what we learned in the
And I'm asking that because we were talking about this Brazilian mindset that we have here. We build companies that work only in Brazil. We don't have the global mindset, right? So we want to change that.
Yeah, but you know what's the question always is that? The question is like, it's not bad if you build great company which is like doing money and it's in Brazil. It's still very tough, isn't it? The question is, do you want to change the world? And many times what I have learned is that client feedback in different countries can be so different. And we learned immediately, basically, in the early days in Pipedrive, that when we talked with Estonian clients, the feedback was, okay, but why I should pay money for that? Because my son friend can program it. That was a feedback, because like Estonia, everybody can program, Even my dog can like learn like JavaScript or whatever. That's the attitude.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But if you go to US, it was like, okay, but what about that feature? Okay, if you will add that feature, I will pay you. That was a feedback. It was like, so who you would focus? So that was the case that we learned very fast that US clients is much better paying to pay you if you have a great product. And also like being very frank, come on, Estonia like 9 years ago was still like some people using like private software, you know, attitude is not there, you know. But US is easy, like I wanna use the best product. If it saves my time, I pay for that.
Great.
So that's why I think that this fundamental thing, and also like think about that. It's always like you have to measure how much you put time in. What is the potential outcome? That's super important, you know. Like, and we always like had like discussion. Like, you have only few people who can program. You have small team. What is your fastest way so that you can start to have revenue? That's very breaking point. And how this revenue can month by month grow.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like for every startup, the first point is that how I can make money. Then I am real company, and how this can grow month by month.
Okay. Would you do something different in your next company?
Yeah, I still doing many mistakes, and I'm still naive, which is good. And I love, you know, why I love talking with founders that many times other people have done differently and they still fine. I would say in Pipedrive case, we have been lucky, or there are many things which I would do differently later stage. But in the maybe in the first 2 years we was luck of doing bootstrapping. Like we didn't had like too much capital. No one didn't believe us. You know, we was very bad in fundraising. Like I think the Pipedrive has been very frankly, we have been super building company which has been many times in break even. Like if you look CRM market, if you look Pipedrive and our competitors, we have been at least twice better using capital. This money what we have fundraised, huge amount of still is at the bank. So because we have been very practical how we can. But I believe that in fundraising, I'm so much better today than I was back in that days. Maybe we would. This is a good question. I think that I really believe that you shouldn't too much like focus what you should do different at that time. Today, indeed, like I have learned many things, but Pipedrive in overall, I would say that what I learned is that the most biggest mistakes maybe, or most like costly mistakes is maybe it's so difficult to hire people in US. That's I would
in
say,
US.
Yes, because it's not like I'm not anymore Estonian. Sadly, like if you meet usual Estonian, like they don't look into your eyes. They are like, what? They're like, you know, this is Estonian.
They're
like,
shy.
Yeah, like, very humble. But it's Estonians. If you find great people, they are very loyal. Like if you build great culture, we had many people who work in Pipedrive. They worked before in Skype, at like 2 companies. Like, oh my god. In US, people always, what's the next opportunity? You know, like 9 months here, 10 months there.
More greedy.
Not only but that, but overselling.
Okay.
So like Estonians telling you something and they're hiding even 20%. In US, many times people like double what you have actually done. Okay. So I would say that the only thing which I would do maybe differently is that I would much more promote like this hungry young people who can work 100+ hours per week, but just prove. So I would I am now more and more finding rough talent and giving them way how they can grow in company.
And what about Brazilian people? We have stock here in Thiago. I
think that we had that luck with Brazil so far. Like we haven't like. Indeed, we have to learn emotionally much different, you know. But yeah, I think that in Brazil it's more like I think that we should itself put more effort here and do more activities, show how much we actually care what's going on and how much this philosophy what we have is related where is Brazil, as I told you know, like I was yesterday really trying to like buy my tickets and immediately Visa blocked me. I was like, oh my god, like, and I like, you know, by the way, what people don't know is that nowadays Estonia is success, you know, but 25 years ago, Estonian mafia was just blowing up bombs in the like central city. This was Estonia, like just 20 years ago. Like you would look the news, okay, mafia, like actual mafia. Somebody killed in forest, you know. This was Estonia. So we have been going from that where we are today.
Yeah.
That's why I think that I have huge empathy of people who has here many times super rough times, you know.
Yeah. Just to give a context to people that are listening to us, Estonia has the highest unicorn per capita in the world, right?
Yeah, like, you know, like exactly. If country has only 1.3 million people, and we have like, you know, like literally like Skype is the most well known. Then we have TransferWise, which is basically like money, like transfer, sort up. Then we have Taxify, which is the new name is Bolt. And those guys are building ride sharing, and they are beating Uber in Africa. And we have Playtech, which did online casinos. And you know, I'm pretty sure that it's question of time exactly, but the Pipedrive very close also, like in that magic number. And there are more companies growing, like so even people are building startup from the city, and that city in Estonia, which has 20,000 people. And one of them is Cleveron. They work with Walmart, and they do like, I think that they are even profitable now. And they do like 25 million annually and growing from city which has 20,000. In Brazil, most likely small village, but Estonia, 20,000 is city actually.
Great. You mentioned about fundraising and how you sucked at the beginning.
Oh my God, yeah, too
bad. Pipedrive raised more than 90 million so far in a Series C lately in last year. What have you learned in this journey? Why do you? How do you? Did you have so success? Let's say that in fundraising.
By the way, we didn't have success to being like very like so. But the story was that the biggest change for us came when 2011. Year later, we started company. I was applying to Silicon Valley in June, end of the June, beginning of July, and we had agreement in the team that, and we had maybe 25 paid companies, that I can't fly back to Estonia without money. That was the time, like. Literally, like we was like measuring every like dollar what we had. Okay, we had euro, but still like, and so we applied to Y Combinator, and me and Timo flying to California for that 10-minute meeting, and you know how expensive that is.
Yeah.
And we just used the last money we had. No. The biggest mistake we did. We had 5 founders. We left. Basically, 2 of our technical co-founders to Estonia. The first question Paul Graham asked, so guys, who is from you is like programmer, hacker? Fuck. It's in Estonia. And you know, that's the like, it's like, fuck, that goes bad, you know. And we got no. We got no from Seed Camp, which is the Europe program. We got no from Techstars New York.
Is there any VC in Estonia?
Yeah, at that time there was basically government-funded VC, but because of my first startup and I had a relation with them, I learned one thing, that you never look for money, you look know-how. So what's the fundamental difference for me today is that exactly every single person who is connected with company is a team member. So like, the question is how someone can help you beyond this money. That's the question. The challenge many times with local VCs can be, you have to look what experience they are bringing to your table. If they have never been entrepreneurs, then I am not like too much fan of those people. But if you have someone who actually built it and gone through, that can be so much more useful. So, but basically back to the story. So 2011 I was in California. I literally was going around, and the same thing. I was like, "Hello guys, I'm from Pipedrive. Here is my business card. Pipedrive, you know, this is the promo code. You can use it, whatever, you know." And I just go around like every day in Silicon Valley. You have like, I don't know, like tens of meetups, and I just hit every day. This event. You just can't sleep, sir, you know, And then you see that, wow, we start to see the first signups from like, you know, US, like Because some people, okay, let me take a look, Some people were like, they just throw away your business card. And then one moment we had 3 options on the table. And also we used angel list, which was much different as it today, because there was literally angels who looked every new startup. I know one guy from Germany who looked, new startup, I'm calling them. Literally crazy. So we got sent two angels in, and we got to accelerator. But as you guys know, at least in Silicon Valley, every accelerator is built for that set, how to train you for the fundraising. So we did 3 months program. Many things changed, fundamentally for us. After that, we hit heavily fundraising, 0. We didn't get any money. And then we go back to Estonia, you just...
Was there a reason, you think?
Yes, I think that the reason was that, we had one meeting with one local VC, which happened to be Google Ventures, and they loved us, what we do, and they said, guys, here is, we would love to offer you term sheet, but there is one condition, before we even want to talk with you, is you would have to relocate all of your folks to the US. And it was like, oh my God, fuck. And we said no.
Really?
And okay, and
non-negotiable.
Nope. And the challenge was that many people in California, Silicon Valley, believe everybody outside of Valley is fucking lazy. Sorry to be rough, but this is the feeling I got it. And they had some bad examples. Somebody moved to Singapore. And the other thing, actually, what's even more important is that, come on, investor want to have relation with you. They want to walk by to your office, just see how is everybody motivated and so on. And
want to be closer.
Yeah, and if you have to take 24 hours flight to other time zone. So anyway, so we did a fundraise. We go back to the Estonia, and what we did really is that, okay, how much money we have. And you see every month it's less and less and less. But
burning.
It was extreme. And we literally had every month one-way runaway. Literally. Okay, in November we had maybe 5 months runaway. And then revenue is growing and it's going. And then the biggest jackpot, I think, that what changed basically everything was 2012, March or April, we hit break even. And this was magic happened. What we did, we still sent investors monthly updates,
1 page.
Yes. And we kept doing that. And in April, we started to fundraise, and in 2 months we fundraised our seed round without any physical meeting. We had just calls. Done. But we had
it was a seed round.
Yeah, it was seed round, yeah. But the point was, it was about, if you're too early, it's okay. We are break even. We are doing it anyway. So it was kind of fear of missing
Doesn't
out.
matter, yeah.
Yeah, I don't care,
If you want to put money here, okay.
Yes.
If not, I'm fine.
Yes, exactly. This should be
This is the best time to raise.
Fundraising is timing. And that's the toughest thing with startups is having tough time. If you don't have timing, go back and work, because it's so huge disruption and energy. Because you go and sell, and you have to ready to take 100 no's from your heart. Every day, oh my God, I'm sucking, I'm so bad. This is the emotionality what you need to face. The challenge is that I think that what I more and more understand, if you're in Silicon Valley, it's easy to find ways to the 100+ investors. Yeah. But if you're living in middle of nowhere, like Estonia, how many angel investors are in Sao Paulo, I do believe?
I have no idea, but a lot.
You have them, okay, but we don't, we have, I most likely in Estonia, okay, now we have, but that time, 10. You can know them in 1 day, so, and then you need to go to Berlin and London, and who can make your intro. That was the case, you need to, but again, that's what we're chasing in Lifts, at how founders can help. Thailand founder can help from Sao Paulo, because we are facing similar things, that's what we're building. Yeah. But anyway, so my point is that after that, come on, still even a year later, we did the first round, we did seed, I don't even know how to call it, second seed round. We still was bad on that. We still, and I know what is the difference now. The difference is Estonians, and I have changed a lot. We are humble. If you go to the fundraising meeting in Silicon Valley, it's feeling sad in the VC like room before the meeting room. Someone is giving every founder like cocaine, you know, because they're like, I'm building the thing, and then Estonia like, hello. It's like those guys has problem most likely. They don't tell us. That's the feeling, Like,
awesome.
Yeah. So, and we was not good on that. Now we have learned that. Now we have learned how we can
without cocaine, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, let's cut it. Whatever. Like, you have to be selling. The thing you have to believe it, because startup is working on founder energy. And if you can't get it on the meeting, because whatever you predict is wrong anyway. Like, we have been lucky, by the way. The most crazy thing, we did Excel 2011, how we will have like basically revenue and clients. Our first marketing guy was an amazing guy who worked in Skype, and he looked at it and said, never happens. Crazy? This prediction 2011 January about next 2 years worked almost like 5-10% right. This is most crazy thing ever. Pipedrive was so lucky. Like we literally built it that we grow every month like this kind of like 10-15%, and we are growing still heavily. But now I have seen so many startups, and what is different that Pipedrive has managed to build which is growing month by month. I have seen companies like this,
Yeah.
But Pipedrive, because of the model what we have, like we have 9,000 clients. If you even lose, let's say, a few hundred, it doesn't affect us so much.
Yeah.
But let's say if you're in enterprise sector and your main client is going away, I have invested to the company which one client is doing 80%.
Oh my God.
I can't imagine if this client goes, bye-bye, boom.
They're on his hand.
So anyway, I would really like founders.
And the strategy to, you raise your seed and then Series A and B. The strategy was to use this capital to, you support your growth,
yes.
right? But your goal was to hit the break even as well, or no, it was another kind of goal?
We have been many times in break even. Actually, even today, if we would decide that we wanna be break even, it's matter of like 6 to even like 3 to 6 months, by the way.
Okay.
In the most extreme, most likely we can be break even like exactly 3-4 months. No. Like you guys, just being very honest. If you're a founder, you never can go to the VC and tell our strategy is being in break even. You are like, I wanna minimum double my results in next 12 months. You wanna actually triple even or whatever. But you as a founder, if you wanna have better sleep, you don't wanna so heavily depend on outside capital.
Yeah.
Like being very frank, we have been the longest cycle now without financial crisis, and Pipedrive is extremely well prepared for that.
Capitalize it.
Yes. If something happens, we will survive any crisis because we have I can't say that, but in overall, we have been talking those things seriously. If this thing happened, what's the thing? But many startups would basically go to the bust if the fundraising cycle will change. And that's the fundamental thing which is different maybe in small markets or like non-developed and in Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley is just, as you know, it's all, even Uber now, Uber just announced 5 billion loss. Okay, 3 billion was from IPO, but still they are in stock market, they still lose money. I believe that you have to be balancing, grow fast, but being realistic. What happens if you don't have possibility to fundraise? Because the biggest mistake happens if you have to fundraise, and you will go bust if you don't do that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I would say
investor will beat you up, and
yeah, and that's why I personally like to invest to B2B because I understand that area.
Yeah.
In B2C, it's different, like jump, but mostly I have been doing B2B bets now, like as a angel investor.
We have a lot of B2B deals here.
Awesome.
We'll share later. Jumping to other topic right now, you have seen a lot of companies, thousands, building their structure, their sales structure and their sales team and process and so on. And most of our audition here are at the beginning of this journey. So they don't have process, structure, playbooks, and so on. By your knowledge and what you've seen, what would you recommend these people, these entrepreneurs? Where to start?
Yeah, that's good. As I was starting, like first of all, you as a founder have to discover by yourself who can buy your product. That's the key element. If you can't sell, then it's extremely difficult for you to go and hire someone. I think that the key element for the founder is that mentally you have to ready to learn new things every day, and you have to be ready to change your focus, the thing what you do literally every day, because you never know, maybe your best guy leaves tomorrow and you need to jump into the shoes. So I would say that first, you as a founder is doing heavily sale. Next thing is that if you feel I have like some clients already using me, paying money, usually what happens that you jump in and try to find someone who is experienced on sale, who can maybe help you in part-time.
Okay.
I know in Europe there are like very great guys in Tel Aviv, Israel, they know how to do sale, or London, Berlin, and then exactly same time you think that, okay, where is your clients actually living? And you might go and hire someone to New York, to San Francisco, whatever is your market, And then if you have 1-2 sales, because you still manage them and you use this advisor, then maybe you are like thinking, okay, maybe now we have proved that these guys can sell. Maybe now we go to the like exactly get this like somebody more senior who can sell, but who can also like lead these 2-3 people, like act as a lead for that.
Okay.
Because the challenge is that if you're doing too early some VP of sales, these people always like, I need 10 people at least,
it's super team.
Expensive. Yeah, and you know what's even tougher? For you, it's super tough to hire this person, because VP of sales is the best on sales, and he sells, as I said, for Pipedrive, in overall, in my personal opinion, the biggest mistake have been for us hiring this like VP of something people.
Yeah.
Because like those guys are professionally, and you even she worked in Google, or someone worked in whatever company. Every company is unique.
Yeah.
And think about Google. In Google, you will have so much like people contacting you. But if you're a startup, you have to be much more so you're getting inbound. But a startup, you're usually outbound. That's the fundamental thing. So I would most likely look really like extremely focused. Who can help me? Like, can I hire someone part-time? If I hire someone, if you hire first sales guys, it's super KPIs. Sadly, no results first month. You have to let this person go, because you have numbers. Sales is about numbers. Like how many leads, how many calls, how many contacts per day, really per day, per week, and so on. So in the sales, it's all about what matrices you should go and force and how to look those things. And if you're a founder, you need to be looking them daily.
What we see a lot here is that most of the entrepreneurs are in the discovery phase. Like they don't have their ideal customer profile yet, so they sometimes they hire some VP of sales or some closer, and they instruct this person to go out and sell, but they don't know where to start or to who to sell. Do you have any advice for this?
Yeah, but that's the craziness. Like I think that it's so hard. Like this is the core DNA of the startup and founder is building product and thinking about what problem you solve and who exactly should buy it, I believe that there have to be very strong statement why you do this thing and how you understand the real pain around that. If you can't find key clients who can buy from you, do you have actually needed know how to do the product,
Yeah, it's not a painkiller.
Exactly, because it's all about painkillers, not about next vitamin, but painkiller. So you can get much help indeed, but many things you as a founder have to go through personally. And like, by the way, talking about partner culture, we still even today have the culture that whoever we are hiring, they end up in Estonia in like, basically boot camp. Like every person, we have now 500 people globally. Like in Tallinn is 300, then we have Lisbon with 100. Then we have exactly, like London, New York, Prague, second city in Estonia, Tartu. And now we have 2 people in Sao Paulo, check mark. So, but every person who will hire to Pipedrive will travel to Estonia and will have boot camp. And in the first 2 weeks, everyone is doing support, replying customer thing. That's the DNA what we have. The same thing is like, like you as a founder should really be biggest hassler and try to find your way to the client profiles. It can be wrong, you can change it.
Yeah.
But if you can't sell, who else can sell it? Because you are the most passionate, you are the most believing, and so on.
You're the one who know the most about the product.
Exactly, and you have to find in your, it's not maybe about. It can be first employee. It doesn't need to be co-founder if you can't find, but still core team. You know, because many times I think that first 10 people is very crucial. It's not only founders, but the first hires you do. So if you hire someone who is basically sitting down, like you have like 10 people around the table, someone, yes, let's go and do it, that's fine. But yeah, like if you can't sell your product, it's so hard to hire someone outside doing that. So, and exactly, what's the pain? Who feels the pain? Like, can you describe this person? That's what I believe.
Nice. I found a Harvard Business Review study that shows that 50% of the high performers have their process well structured and well documented, as known as playbooks, we call it here. Do you have any suggestions on how to do a playbook, or how to build a playbook, or what must have or must not have?
Yeah, I think that first of all, there are so much great stuff in the Google. Like usually my great friend who is a founder of Taxify, he said that his education is Google-based education. I always say that before you ask, you should Google, and there are so much things around. But what I really believe is that exactly, if you're building your sales process, the question is about steps. Exactly. What is like, and if you build pipeline even, like, okay, here's the first step, what it actually means. Like you would describe, this means let's say the lead means that we have looked the client, we know who to contact and so on. That's qualified lead. Got it. So it should be very clear. Like you should describe it in the ways that someone going in and you see, this is how we understand the sale. In this stage, to move to the next stage, this happens. That's the action what happens. If you just build
this is what means success in this stage.
Exactly. If you just build the pipeline and there is no clear actions how to move deal from one stage to other stage, no one understands it. You should have exactly this kind of clarity, like, and you should understand it that
patterns.
Yes, exactly. Like, is the sales usually like 3 months or 6 months or whatever? What it takes to basically the deal? What's the magic moment? Who is the decision maker? I think that many times people don't understand, like in our case, what is extremely unusual, what people don't realize that, like Pipedrive itself, by the way, even we was building sales tool, we didn't had sales team until recently. We depended on the inbound, literally, like someone registering software, and our focus was how we basically do that someone who registering to a product can understand what's this all about, that will have magic moment. So we have data team who's every day, every hour analyzing so many data points. How we can be better on that. But I would say that in the active sale, magic moment, who is decision maker? Like if you do engage your software, let's say, does actually head of HR has money, or actually it's CEO? Many times CEO, by the way. So like you have to find who is the decision maker, how to find the way to that. How you can basically find the way, more original way, not just cold calling and so on. How this scales. So I think that, right, you have to describe in the way. And I think that in Europe, like we have looked, because we have so much data, we have looked so many countries. Many times there are so many interesting things you can see that, like you look like, oh, French people have so long like lunch, but they look, wow, but they are so effective after lunch. Wow. So we have looked, and also like, you have to look like, what's the average deal, like probability, how much time it takes. And by the way, this is exactly what Pipedrive is focusing now. We have so much data now. The question is, how we can put your data in your own, success,
Yeah.
How we can help you predict the things. The more data we have, the more, as I said, our dream is that you log in. And our student tells, please do this.
Yeah.
You done check mark, please do this. That's the dream we have.
And the challenge, we were talking about it before. The challenge and the beauty of this is that each country has their own culture, their own way to work, and so on.
Exactly, and that's why we have to look local thing.
Yeah.
We have to look exactly how is in Brazil, like we have so much information that, and also the thing what we are focusing in Pipedrive is that there are lots of buzz around AI, machine learning, these things.
Blockchain.
Blockchain, not anymore, by the way, luckily. But in our case, is that how we can build the things which doing some things automatically for you. How we can automate the things, like if this happens, this is the automatical things. How we can get this your own information and telling you do this and that. How you against of your like weekly like goals. Because the worst thing what happens that you as a like sales guy, it's 3 days to go and you're like discovering, oh my god, this month's sales goal is only like whatever 20% done. So we are really focusing on how we every moment telling you that how successful you are, what's the things one need to change, not only for the animal sales guy but also for the manager. But yeah, like I would say that this clarity is super important. That in the early days, it's not only about sales guy. Every person in company should know what is my KPI, how this KPI will connect to the company success.
Okay.
If you have 10 people, like you should like say that these people are doing like that people actually signing up or whatever. Let's say how can like engineering help the product? Easy. If someone's signing up, how they can be more active in product. Yeah. How we can be sure as a
increase the engagement.
Exactly, engagement. Like you should always find the one number. Let's say because in Pipedrive we have been KPI driven company. We had literally like in the early days we had computer which played sound when new client started to pay for us. Twinkling people like yes we got the new client, but one moment we got like too much noise. We have to basically put just audio off. But we still had like live dashboard. You can see live data, and you're like programmer. Damn! I work here. I see connections that I do this thing, and I feel I am actually like needed. That's the thing. As a startup CEO, you have to be sure in early days that every single person can feel that they spend the energy in the right company.
They're going toward the same goal.
Yes, exactly.
Great. We are reaching the end of this episode here. I just would like to ask you some quick and personal questions. First one, your favorite book? Can be a business book or can be...
Yeah, actually, I'm a big fan of Elon Musk.
Oh, okay.
So if you guys
I can see it.
Yeah. In Musk we trust.
Next president.
So I think this guy is a crazy guy. It's like how you can run like, I don't even know how many startups you're running. So usually my best thing is that when I can go and read some entrepreneurs describing, the thing which we have gone through, like hard things about hard things, Ben Horowitz, Also like Becoming a Steve Jobs, not biography, but also a book what describes how this guy who many times feels as a asshole actually turned into that genius, what he actually did, and this is something which can really be inspiring for me. I'm not alone. That's always the tough thing anyway. And the question is like how you can survive that time. That's why. So yeah, I'm a fan of Elon Musk, clearly.
Nice, great. Do you have any favorite online tool or app?
Being frank, I think that what I have changed recently is that I switched off almost all of my notifications. So the key question is how you as a founder can find more and more focus time.
Reduce the noise.
Yes, that's the thing. So what I have done is that I many times just book my calendar with the thing which seems like too even easy, but just focus time, switching off my Slack, all of the things, headphones and just working. So I'm switching off totally. I don't care because believe me, you as a CEO and founder need to find these focus times. So I'm actually against the apps more and more, because whatever it is, you have to have this that I can call or do after 2-3 hours. I would say that's the biggest battle what we have as our founders.
Okay.
How we can do it. So indeed, I love
productivity. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I love I'm more and more this brain, training apps which I'm using this Elevate or Lumosity. So they're pretty good, training your brain more memorized. Because for me, it's can you imagine if you have 500 people in company?
Yeah.
What level you actually forgot the people names,
Yeah, remember all the people
exactly.
names.
So for me, it's always how I can upgrade myself. I love to listen to TEDx talks. Some of them is a very if I don't Audible, by the way, is one of my favorite because always if I go around, I'm in the airport, I'm listening books. I'm not reading it, and I'm trying to make some remarks, because as a traveler so much I have these ineffective times and how I can feel with the good way.
Yeah. Nice. And connecting with what you just said, you have any favorite website, newsletter, or somewhere you consume news?
Yeah, there are
content?
Some neat podcasts which I'm listening. I think it's pretty good. Is what I'm almost this week in startups by Jason Calacanis is one podcast which I'm listening. It's really basically talking with very great founders. Master of Scale, which is by Reid Hoffman. This is also good, And yeah, A16 blog also is pretty good podcast.
Okay.
So, but as I said, and I have also trained my Flipboard being showing me all the interesting content. So I'm continuing training it better and better. But yeah, I think that I as my first job was in media, so I'm maybe even using too much media, and so there's so much noise which we as a founders doesn't need to focus Donald Trump news or
Do you see a lot of news? Do you read a lot of news?
I read, but I as I said, I need to switch this noise off,
Yeah.
And if someone TechCrunch is great, but come on, it doesn't actually. You don't need to read it, So it's more about exactly this productivity and so on.
And do you use a lot of social media?
I use some level. For me, social media is only marketing now. I use Twitter rarely because it can be so time consuming. Actually, one of my favorite apps, I need to mention that because is a 7-minute workout.
7-minute workout.
Yeah. So the point is you have to take care of your body.
Yeah.
And the problem is that you can always say I'm traveling, I don't have time. 7-minute workout is literally you always can find 7-minute time when you can do sport. And in a hotel, whatever you are, you just put headphones and you do sing. And this is exactly if I'm traveling, I do not 7. I do now 3 cycles, basically 21 minutes. You just put, and it just tells you what to do next, Because if you're not taking care of your body, you are just losing the game, completely. One of the you need to be in good shape if you wanna take this game. If you don't take care of your body, your mind is not clear. So the 7-minute workout is very good. It's free app. You can use it anywhere and just every day. Indeed, I can't do every day, but a few times per week I'm running or I'm just doing this. I'm just balancing it. I have also run marathon when I lived in Santiago.
Really?
Chile, so, yeah.
I'm gonna run my first marathon on 2 weeks.
Wow, great. And I was living in Santiago and I trained only like 6 weeks.
6 weeks
Yes.
to run a marathon. You're crazy, man.
Yeah, but I did it. I was like,
You're crazy. No. There's no excuse. The next one was about the entrepreneur that you admire, but
Elon Musk,
I think you already mentioned that. Is there anyone else?
in Estonia, like there is one. I'm very happy in my new journey now. Basically, I'm still involved in Pipedrive, but I'm focusing more and more Lift 99, which is Founders Network. So, and we have investor from Japan whose name is Daiso-san, who is a brother of Masa-san, and he's crazily inspiring for me every time we meet, because he literally he has told stories how he opened Yahoo in Japan, which is not even online, But the crazy thing is that how he sees that. What's real impact, how he's investing to the Indian farmers or the thing. So he's one of my really mentors, and so I'm so happy that I am working together with him. He's Lift 99, he's an investor, and he's so different from his brother, founder of SoftBank, and they are brothers. And one guy is let's put billion here. Other is so this startup is doing something for the Indian farmers. Interesting. Let's invest here. And how this is measurable in impact.
Yeah.
And this is super amazing guy.
Great. The last one, do you have any habits that made you come so far? Or you?
Yeah, it's interesting, you as a founder is really I have learned in so hard ways that how to basically balance your stress and the thing, and the key element is really that what I need to tell is that you have to find times, you have to have this life after digital thing, I travel a lot and I always go and easily, if you travel, even if you go away weekend, you can charge your batteries. It's super important. I have my, I have my family. I have by the way, every day if I go to office, I have dog with me. It's just kind of so it's because this life what real founders are living, you're like kamikaze, because statistically we know that 80% of the companies will fail, which means founders would fail. The question is how you can go through with that. By the way, the best books about the mind I have found is if people know neuro-linguistic programming, how you can basically in hard times memorize your success and focus that, not the negative part.
Yeah, change your mind.
Yes, exactly. You can train yourself. So let's say you touch 2 fingers and you memorize some powerful emotions. So you were successful. So you need to write down the success and celebrate the success. This is, I would say that you need to do personally, but also in the company.
Do you do journaling?
I have done it time by time, just writing down these positive emotions, because then if you're writing it down, you can go back and take these emotions with you in this hard situation.
And how it affected you at that time.
Exactly, because if you can literally it's literally you will save it in some hard drive and you are replaying it, how it can be automatic. So this is continuous battle in myself as well. I am trying to do it in the moments because in this life, exactly, think about every founder, you are lucky, you are successful once. If you do a new company, you are in the starting point with tens of thousands of others. It's a marathon. It's still every time hard. Yeah. Whatever you do, you just know some things, but you need to still train. You need to, and whatever it's raining, you maybe had yesterday bad food, you can fail. Skype co-founder Ahti Heila, my good friend, he has done 9 companies, and you maybe will find only 2 information. So the fact that I did Pipedrive well doesn't mean that everything which I do is many of my investment would be failures, but it's okay because I invest to the human, not the company.
Great.
Every time I invest, I ask would I invest to same guy in the next company as well? Because this one most likely will fail anyway.
Yeah.
So that's the question which I ask many times. So it's more I invest your success long term, not about only this one. And if we are lucky, Hulk Royal Hallelujah.
Great. Ragnar, thank you so much for being here, for your wisdom, for your time. Hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, thank you. And as I said, like, I have done first investment to Latin America, none in Brazil. I am super busy guy, but I'm passionate about helping early founders. You can find my contacts in whatever way. In LinkedIn, if you write very clearly what you want from me, in LinkedIn, I actually go through with all invitations. If there is a call to action, I might reply you. And yeah, like, as I said, Lift 99 itself, you can check it out what we do. We will launch in end of September investor reviews about investors who are actually investing outside of Silicon Valley. So you can follow us and you can contact me. I can give you early access if there are real founders who are interested about that. And yeah, and thank you for inviting me. I'm really happy to be here and helping founders here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pessoal, obrigado aí por quem assistiu. Foi uma honra estar aqui com o Ragnar. Espero que vocês tenham gostado também. E se vocês tiverem algum empreendedor aí que vocês possam sugerir também esse episódio, os demais episódios para ajudá-los nessa trajetória, fiquem super à vontade. É isso aí, até a próxima. Tchau, tchau.